right, welcome everybody to this edition of O365A. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking more Copilot and more agents. So everybody's talking about agents in Microsoft Copilot. On this episode, we're going to give you a great tip on how to be more productive with M365 BizChat. And that's by using the out-of-the-box agents that Microsoft ships. And Habib, we talked about this just recently. You discovered some agents that are pre-built by Microsoft and not easily visible. So why don't you give us a rundown about what's available and how people can install that in Copilot BizChat?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just going to share my screen. Just give me a little thumbs up when you get a second. Good. Okay, yep. Perfect. Yeah, so I was going through, some of the different apps that are inside Microsoft Teams in preparation also for an event that Michael and I were speaking at. So I was just trying to see what are the different, things that were built by Microsoft. So I just came into the apps application or the apps app inside of Microsoft Teams. Came into categories, and there's a category that says built by Microsoft. So these are the first party apps that Microsoft builds. And then I was sort of scrolling through, and I saw, a couple of different ones that were interesting. And then I went through, the filters. I wanted to see sort of the different ones. And I found this new agent filter that's out of the box now. And then when I did that, out came, all these different these agents that, I didn't really know they were agents at the time, but when I filtered, it says, there's career coach, there's writing coach, learning coach, prompt coach, idea coach, and then a Microsoft 365 admin. Which says here, use AI to get answers and data to help you manage your Microsoft 365 tenant, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. So I added all those in. I didn't really know where they were going to be exposed, but when you click open, it actually takes you to the BizChat page inside of Microsoft Teams, which is like the Copilot icon here. So before we get into that, I did want to actually show the prompts coach, because that's separate actually from the prompts app, I should say, is different than the prompts coach. So there is a prompts app that you can add in as well too. So I want to add that as well, because I'm working with some clients, and they're trying to understand what is the best way to share prompts amongst each other and amongst the team and stuff like that. And so obviously you can log into the what is this called here? What was it? Sorry, was that Michael?
The prompt gallery.
Oh yeah, thank you. The prompt gallery. Yeah. So you can go to the prompt gallery in the website, but in the prompt gallery in the website, you don't really get. Well, actually, I think you do get them now. These different tabs: the Microsoft prompts, your prompts, and Teams prompts. But inside of the Copilot BizChat, you only see Microsoft prompts and your prompts. So when you want to share it, we talked about different applications that you can use to share your prompts, but this was one that I wanted to sort of look at. Kurt, sorry, you had a question.
Oh yeah, just a quick note. So you got to this through the apps store in Microsoft Teams, and then we filtered on agents. I did notice in the Copilot BizChat, you can go get agents from there, and it brings up a similar experience. So I think there's two ways to do it. But I think you end up in the same place and you see the same agents.
I was just sort of showing how I kind of stumbled upon them, right? So to get the filter in that list. But yeah, that's a good point. And I'll show that when we get to that other page. So if we go back to the prompts here, in the prompt gallery, I can see here, these are my prompts that I have. They actually have this new icon that's next to it now that says share prompt, where I can just copy the link and paste it for somebody, or I can say share to a team. So when I click share to a team, you'll get prompted with, these are the teams that you want to share it with. And I can just put in, this one here, and I click share. And then it said prompt to share to that particular team. Now I've gone to that team, because I've shared something before. I don't actually see the like a tab or anything like there. So I don't really know underlying yet where that actual prompt is stored in that channel or that team. But if you go to team prompts here, you can filter by, the different teams that you have. And then this is where you can share, right? So you can use this, prompt gallery to sort of see where, sharing of all the prompts and stuff like that. And then the other one I think that we talked about at the event was Prompt Buddy is another one, but that's a Power App that's built by some engineers at Microsoft that you can find on GitHub. And you can, use that to share and do some additional filtering and stuff like that. But you can take a look at that. I'll probably include that in the blog post as well, so you can see where it's located. All right, so now that we've got that covered, we can go to Copilot. And then, so this is the Get agent that Curtis was mentioning before that will take you to the apps menu. But you can see here, they will show up under this list here, and then you can pin them, which I've done up here. So you can see I've got learning, writing, prompt, career, idea, and Microsoft 365. So we've got some prompts already created here. So let's go through this. So the learning coach here basically allows me to learn a different topic, new language, skill, maybe create a learning plan for me or prepare for a test. So I'm just going to paste in a prompt that says, tell me the 5 things I need to do to be more proficient with Copilot for Microsoft 365. And so it comes back, obviously, with the results that are there. It can pull some information from data that you actually have. And then you can, I think we talked about this last time, you can edit it in Pages and create a page and it becomes a live file and stuff like that. So you can start utilizing that. And then, if we move down to the writing coach, so this one here is basically going to say, write a blog post about a video interview, talking about agents and Copilot, biz chat that drives views. And then it just pumps out all these different, items, particular part, that is basically regards to writing. I mean, even if I do a new chat, just so you can see what it says, you can even have it say like, hey, critique my writing, change the tone of an email, translate a piece of text, right? I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I have one in here that I was using before. So that's kind of cool that certain things that you can do within there. So it's interesting that these agents are kind of trained with, these specific functions. The prompt one, so this one here says, if you want to actually get better, you can actually say, hey, analyze my prompt, right? You can create a prompt, understand sort of what prompt engineering is. And I think we've talked about this many times before. What is the one here? So Tino says, okay, so let's look at the Microsoft 365 admin one. So this one is, recap priority information, learn admin tasks. And this one is like, how do I view Copilot usage across my organization, which we did cover in previous episodes. So the question here is, how do I set up dynamic group-based licensing? So data to be shared with Microsoft admin. I can say, okay, allow once. You guys have any questions while this is running?
Yeah, Habib, I was wondering, we don't have much experience with these agents, but of course, the concept of an agent that's able to go off and do things on your behalf. I was wondering if some of these agents, you can actually do that more than just getting information back in a prompt response type fashion, if it can actually go out and in this case, make admin changes if you have the necessary rights.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. Based on the descriptions of each function, when you click on them, it just basically, to me, appears to just be kind of like a Copilot agent where you have a prompt and response kind of a thing. So it doesn't have any of the actions that are going to be coming out where you can actually create a flow based on specific things. Would kind of be cool to be able to have that, those specific items to say, at least on maybe on the admin side of things. But yeah, out of the box, based on what I'm reading, it just appears to me that it's just a prompt response kind of a agent.
Yeah.
Although I did see,
access.
oh, sorry, I was going to point out, I did see, Habib, in your M365 admin example, it came back with what I think were deep links to the admin tool to carry out the task.
Yeah, but you couldn't, like, it's not there yet, but I know that that's something Microsoft's talked about looking at, like, go ahead and license. Like, we just asked the M365 admin to, how do I set up group-based licensing? I couldn't say, I want you to set up a dynamic group-based license for these 10 users based on this attribute. It wouldn't actually do that yet, but I don't. I think that's the next sort of level of things to come, is providing actions that would actually go and do that on your behalf.
Yeah. But I did see a link, for example, to the Entra ID portal. Yeah. Maybe it deep links you to the part where you'd actually set up a dynamic group-based license.
I'm just going to wait for this to create, and see, I'm going to hover over the link to see if it actually is there.
And I think it's important to call out your mileage may vary with this. Like, off camera, I asked it to tell me how to create the same, like, group-based, dynamic group-based license group and filter for Teams phone resource accounts. And it totally hallucinated and said, well, just look for the, it basically looked for an attribute that was set once you already have the license. And I'm like, and I tried to, then you get into these rabbit holes with Copilot where you're trying to reason with it. So your mileage may vary. So it's great for just initially finding you those deep links or telling you how to do something. But if you start to get a bit sophisticated with it, I think that's where you're going to end up getting into a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Okay, so then lastly, this is from Kurt, the ideation master. He's come up with this prompt, right? Hey, idea coach, can you help me with the strategy and tools to organize ideas for a new product? The ideas come from a group of 5 people. The objective of the session is to record, organize, and prioritize the best ideas. So let's see what this guy says. Oh, so it's asking for more things. Could you share some details about the product? This will help me tailor the strategy to your specific needs. What do you got, Kurt?
Oh, well, let's, of course, everyone wants a better fidget spinner. So let's go. Let's watch a Habib type fidget spinner. See, fun, innovative product. Here we go.
Right. Yeah, so it comes up with a strategy for organizing ideas, tools for the recording. So using, whiteboard, mind mapping software. It actually calls out different products there to actually use.
And not just Microsoft products. It's interesting.
That's quite cool. Yeah, OneNote, Evernote, right? And then have a voting.
Get fixed by tomorrow.
So anyways, I thought this was kind of cool, like that, that there's actually these particular agents that are out there, out of the box, first party, that will help or are trained on specific topics, rather than you having to sort of just use the standard BizChat Copilot to try and create your prompt for that particular thing that you're searching for. So it kind of, I think, to me, gives you or I'm hoping that it would give you a better response because it is tailored to a specific topic that you're asking it about.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in terms of art of the possible, this really lets people know what the capabilities of a specific agent. Because as we all know, with the whole Copilot agent story, Microsoft is making it very easy for businesses and individuals to build their own agents to do a specific business function. So this is a great way for them to get familiar with agents and figure out, what their capabilities are and just the power of them. All right. Well, we'll keep that short and sweet. That's really good. I think that definitely helps people get more productive with M365 Copilot BizChat. And we'll probably be doing more with Copilot and agents on future episodes. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later.